Every day, you essentially pay your dues by doing the harder thing when it's the right thing to do.
My guys do similar in that every day their turns and swinging circuit that they do at the start of their session will finish with a straight back or a layout dismount. Not because they can't double straight or double, but because it really reinforces how they push on the bar and how they stop the rotation. And they've got just complete control over it. And they play around. They'll fly away. They'll do their layaway and they'll clap behind their back and in front of their body and see how many claps they can do before they land. But it's just the reinforcement of how to push the bar and how to fly away. When you go from a giant or a long swing, essentially what you're doing is you're increasing the speed. And by increasing the speed, you are making it harder to hit that exact tiny point of the timing that you need to hit to make your release correct. You imagine like you're spinning a dartboard around you. You've got to try and hit the treble 20. The faster you spin that dartboard, the harder it is to hit your treble 20. So by doing it from a nice, calm, slow tap swing, you're really just slowing it all down, making it more clear for the exact angle and the timing that you need to hit. And once you're consistent and solid and you've got that locked in, then you add the speed, and then you can hit that treble 20 from whatever speed you're spinning. So I feel like for the flyaway dismount, it's about pushing on the bar as well. So you feel the support when you're in the handstand. Once you get your toes down, when you don't just relax and arch through your back, you need to then push the bar forwards. Because by pushing the bar forwards and loading the bar that way, it creates the reaction the other way, bends the bar the opposite way, and then as you release, it takes you up and away in front. Whereas if you just swing around the bar kind of like a long swing, you are creating rotation, but you get one of those flyaways that is almost like pings off the bar and rotates really fast around to your back. Whereas if you can push the bar, you almost stop your rotation and your straight back, your candlestick will almost stop in the air upside down and then really slowly just kind of flop round onto your feet. And then it's dead easy to stick the landing. I 100% agree. It's a scary, scary apparatus. And I think you have to, as a coach, be very delicate on your way around negotiating gymnasts that do show that fear aspect, because they are a good number. I mean, for me, my key principle that I touch on in the lecture is feeling support through the bar. And by that, I mean, so like if you imagine a long swing that's going around the bar, when your long swing reaches handstand, it's almost like bouncing in the handstand position and showing a support. And for me, this is absolutely key, because from that, the gymnast can then create the times, and they can choose the times, rather than if you skip over the handstand, the time just kind of happens to you. And at that point, you are then a passenger rather than the driver of your high bar routine, your dismount, or whichever you're doing. So for me, feeling support and then choosing when and where the action happens puts you in the driving seat, and therefore gives you a lot more confidence in your bar routine, because you're actually choosing what's happening to you rather than just ending up wherever you go. 100%. And especially if it happens in competition on a big stage, because it's not just then your shin that hurts, it's your pride and your self-esteem and everything that takes a massive beating as well. So absolutely. I mean, I would 100% always prefer to see a gymnast compete in clean, safe routines that are slightly at a lower level. I have a philosophy where my gymnasts always try to compete at sort of 75-80% of what they're training, because that last 25% of stuff, the top 25% of skills that they're learning, they are learning still. They're not, I wouldn't say they're consolidated. Yes, they could probably do them in a competition situation,
right?
But you add in the adrenaline, you add in the pressure, and it starts to, the odds start to go down. They start to stack up against you. So I always say, 75% of what you can train in the gym is what I would be happy with putting in my routine. Yeah, I think you can definitely look at body type. That's generally a good indication. But you just get sometimes you get some gymnasts that really struggle with their twist, and so perhaps you wouldn't try to do I don't know, a big twist involved with them. If they're more of a powerful, dynamic gymnast, they might be more suited to like a double somersault vault, or and similar things on high bar. Really, if you've got someone who has really stiff shoulders, you wouldn't try to teach them a jam to handstand. So you might go down the quast or the Rabalco route. But yeah, and also for confidence as well. If you've got a real daredevil gymnast, they love the challenge. They love trying new skills. And Kovac is great. We'll do Kovac, but another gymnast who is very, very nervous and introverted, and they don't like the big shouting and cheering, and they're more like, okay, we just take it easy and do a little bit more of a potentially less scary release. I'm a big believer in combining things as early as possible. So, at the earliest stage, it's as soon as you catch your first catcher, don't just giant and drop off. Giant to a blind turn and then try an endo. And it doesn't have to be and always afterwards to start with, because obviously the skill that you're focusing on learning, you're going to do almost as if it were in isolation. But then when you do catch it, you carry on. And then it gets to the point where we're catching fairly consistently, maybe 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. We can start to try to maybe do a skill beforehand. We'll do a back upright before we do a catch up, and just gradually do that. But I think the earlier you can do that, and the more quickly you can get away with doing skills completely in isolation. It just builds an easier base to create your routine from, and to move it on to the next level. I think moving the bar is quite a difficult one, because it comes with a little bit with size and weight as well.
Right.
If you've got an 8-year-old gymnast and they're very slim built, the type, they can do a
thing's not moving at all.
That thing is not moving. But there's little tricks you can do. I mean, you can loosen the bar a little bit. Obviously not so it's too loose, but loosen it off a little bit, just so there's a little bit more flexibility. I quite like the idea of just static handstand bounces, holding the gymnast by their feet whilst they're on a floor bar, keeping them in good body tension and bouncing. But I would do this on a wooden girls bar, because the bounce and the give of that bar is a lot more than you would get on a men's bar, but you can create the same kind of feeling. In the same way that you use a soft springboard for a younger gymnast, you wouldn't go straight onto a hard 7 springboard, because they're not going to move that. But there's a certain amount of they have to have a little bit of size and weight to do that. But as long as you're reinforcing the key position, lots of backward rolls to handstand, finishing and bouncing in handstand, they'll quite quickly get to the point where they start to feel what they need to do. But I think it's really important to learn that at a young age, because as they grow, that phenomenon will develop with them, and they will maintain that. And yes, it does change as they get bigger, but it changes with them rather than